get driven by data ahead and unlock the value in the data economy. I would straight up invite and request our session moderator, Deepak Chandani, the Chief Data Officer at Angel One, to take up the stage. Please welcome your session moderator. I hope with some refreshed energies. Deepak, hi. I hope you had a good tea coffee break. Did you? All right. Thank you very much for walking up. Now we'll be requesting our session panelists to take up the stage as well. Can we please have Katharvel Srinivasan, the VP and Head of Digital Strategy at Avas Financiers, to take up the stage next. Hi, and a very, very warm welcome to you. May we welcome this very well-known face who looks fitter than before. Please welcome Shuja Mirza, the Director, Solutions Engineering, NetApp India and SAG. Shuja, hi, and a very warm welcome to you. No important summit is complete without you being on board and sharing your insights. So good to see you. Thank you. Can we please have Vasudha Rana, the Chief of Strategy and P&L at BlinkX by JM Financials. Vasudha, hi, and a very warm welcome to you as well. Deepak, we're just getting everybody in, but in the meanwhile, let's just get started with the discussion. Thank you. Over to you. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear it right? Brilliant. We like to, it's always a good restart you have to do when people have a longer snack break. But what we are going to do here is use our 100 plus years of cumulative data analytics experience and share some of the insights that should be helpful. So I'm Deepak Chandani. I've been involved, right now I am the Chief Data Officer with Angel One. I started my career with Apple. I was there around 16 years. And, almost most of the journey has been in the data space. I typically see that people, when they have data, do they take the real value out of it? Yeah. So I have seen it's almost like you need just one Apple Watch to monitor your health. Correct? Even if you put 10 Apple Watch, will you be able to get a better health? The answer is no. Correct? So one of the thing is whatever data which you have, are you extracting value out of those? And what are the different kind of models you are using the data for and generating extra revenue? So the evolution for this data economy started when people use data to optimize their profitability. Yeah. Look into various kind of scenarios. How can I serve my customer better? That now is evolved in which we are looking into providers which are becoming aggregators for data. Yeah. So they may not own the data, but they will use various companies which have the data, create a layer on top and serve the data economy. That's the second thing where we are right now getting benefits from things like Aadhaar, things like Setu, things like where the aggregator functions are changing the way the data economy are growing, and there are new revenue functions which are getting built. The third thing which is yet to be catching up is using the data and the expertise you have, you can actually create models. So tomorrow, if you are looking at if this image good to be used in my applications, in my creatives, there are third-party APIs you can call it, and they will say, yes, it's not deep fake. It is okay. It is not copyright protected. So using data within our journey of 25, 30 years, we have seen that the usage of data is changing significantly. And what we are looking into is the way data is used in Amazon, in various companies where supply chain is looking. They are looking into how to cut the cost, how to serve the customer faster. Then there are companies like Netflix, which they are trying to look into and see how we can improve the customer experience. Then there are things like lending companies recently, where not only the CIBIL score, because companies like in countries like India, a farmer will not have a CIBIL score most probably, correct? How can we actually use data which is available for allowing that person to become credit worthy and give them loans, etc. So my colleagues here will be available to answer those kinds of things where I'll seek, juice coming out in terms of what are different revenue models which where we can get from data. We can look into what is the infrastructure or the blocks you need to have to get juice from this data. Also, we'll try to look into what are the challenges which are there in this part. So to start with, we can go from my right. If you can talk about some of the places where quickly you are using data in which your company or the people have got benefit from you from that.
Okay, thank you for the question. I feel that we are extracting value out of this data is what matters the most, and not just for us, but for our customers also. So I'll probably approach it in two parts of how we're deriving value for our customers and then for ourselves. For our customers, in a fintech domain, what our customers are really looking forward to from us is only that how can we make more money for them, right? How can we help them earn more, help them generate wealth, right? So we are developing multiple models like people like you and doing some analytics on the basis of that. This is your customer profile, and people like you also invest in something else, and this will help you make money. We are able to get all of the data from different sources, analyze it, and properly make a structure out of it so you do not have to go to research to different places and take your decisions, right? So we give you all of that data, we enable you to make informed decisions, right? So that is like generating value for our customers. Then we also have to generate value for ourselves. How data can help us in that is, traditionally in financial companies, people used to look at customers from their income perspective, from their net worth perspective, like HNIs or traders or anything like that. But that is not true in a digital world, right? So in fintech companies or in digital retail broking companies, a customer you cannot define on the basis of just their traits. It is their behavior as well. So we analyze the customer behavior, and from the lead stage, we are able to identify based on the phone that you're coming from, based on your geography, based on multiple different things you have on your app, like whether this is a valued customer for us or not, whether this will be a quality customer in the long run, and whether we should pursue this or not. So that helps us get more revenue. And then once the customer comes into the platform, we are also able to check that, like within the first month, we are able to predict what kind of revenue will this person be able to give us in their lifetime. So that is how we're using it for our own benefit.
Vasudha, I'll connect later with you to get more details where we can use in Angel One. Thank you so much. Shuja, you want to tell about brief about how data you have used in monetizing?
It's we are supposed to be the keepers of information and storing data, but like most of the initiatives, especially in AI projects and all, improving the customer experience, we certainly do a lot, using data for enhancing customer experience, right from systems which our customers are using for running some critical applications. So they need to be up all the time because of the data sets we have collected over time, your systems, your logs. We've been able to guarantee a few things on availability, ensuring that we keep it alive and accessible all the time. So that's just one such example. Then there is the predictive maintenance, predictive analytics and maintenance of the system. So if anything were to go down or was about to go down, you would be able to predict that the system needs maintenance, it needs a patch upgrade or anything. So those are small examples of how we're doing it. There's a lot more on the CRM side where that puts the salespeople in a lot of trouble because they get a lot of feed saying, this is a very high propensity account. Some bank, some broker, someone else like you is about to spend, and they would have reached their capacities on their storage systems. They've exhausted their cloud budgets and they would need more optimization there. And that feeds our sales motion as well. So keeps us going. It's completely data driven.
So, using data to prevent certain things, also to acquire new things. Thank you. Khatir, very difficult name. If you can please discuss how you have used, and then what you can also talk about in the follow-up is how you are using data in your company in which you are actually helping with the value, and that is unlocking revenue potential in your company.
So, thank you guys for joining. I think my fellow panelists has covered, how to use the data. In the financial services, the use case is remaining the same only. You take the data and you use it across the lending cycle. I represent a housing finance company, Avaz. So, right from customer acquisition, from lead scoring, you see whether this lead gets converted into an opportunity. And traditionally, you always, data helps you to help the underwriter better. I just to give a brief, what the underwriter role is, whenever someone is going for a loan application, underwriter assesses, whether this guy can repay the loan and he has the propensity to do that. So after some point of time, end of the day, the more the data you have, the more probability you will able to give a good approval. So what data science helps you is, you helps you to acquire all the data and it helps you to channelize your model. And based on that, it gives a prediction analytics. Boss, this guy might get a loan. And one good thing what we have done in our company is, so if you see the industry standard, whenever a customer apply for a loan, the propensity for him to get a loan, whether it's a secured lending or unsecured, it's 50% or 40%. But your credit manager still has to put effort for all the files. If you have 100 files, you have to put a effort for all the 100 files, but only 50 gets approved. That is the industrial norms. Okay. So, what we have tried to do is, we have trying to make some scores which is proprietary to us, and these act as a pseudo credit manager. So someone is coming for a loan application from the lead stage itself, the system predicts, and it also tells the sales guy, boss, this guy has a higher approval rate. Why can't you process the file faster? We are not saying, the other customer. So it helps you to find the bad apple very quickly, and that helps you. It helps you. It immediately affect your, revenue streams also, because today if I have a 10 credit managers and I can process only 100 files, tomorrow when this comes, this gives me the extra bandwidth, so I don't need to spend money on the credit manager. This is one example. So across the lending cycle, so in the financial industry for the last 10 years, we are all talking about predictive analytics now. I used to work earlier with MasterCard and even in the NPCI also. MasterCard means I used to work with Wipro. So MasterCard was my client. That time itself, it was neural network, 10 years before. So that time itself, they had something called FRM module, fraud risk module. That is typically analytical based. It tells you, whether you do a transaction in Bombay, immediately, I'm talking 10 years back, the next 5 minutes, if you do a transaction in Los Angeles, not even in Chennai, it's not feasible. It will decline the transaction. But the networks are always, when you say one thing, I want to put it very clear is, whatever the data gives you, but you need a manual touch. So normally, whenever in the FRM module, it says a predictive score, but it's the end of the bank to take a call whether you want to honor the transaction. So to sum it up, data has been there for a longer time. More the data, the more the insight you get it.
So can you say that the current practices of, because your customers may not have CIBIL score, you mentioned, correct? What are you doing to unlock the people who do not have a CIBIL score but still give them a loan? How do you do that?
So any affordable housing industry in the country today, we don't only rely on the CIBIL. We all have a proprietary data point. We work on assessed income. When I say assessed income, I try to give a loan for a guy, a rickshawala, or a guy who is doing a stationery shop, where his income is not documented. Our guys go there, they sit with them, they understand the business, they put the data in a structure they want, then it comes to my engine, then we will able to give a predictive fire based on it. That's how we are doing it. This is a very common practice across the industry. And even I think if you see the TransUnion or the bureau in the country, they have also started working on the alternate data, because, we as a country, today we have a lot of data source. One point of time, we didn't have this much mobile phone in the country. Today, mobile has most of the data. If I have missed my, today you are talking about missing a EMI. 20 years, 10 years back, if you missed a postpaid bill, no one is going to say, boss, you will not get a loan. But that is the change, things has changed. Now digital is like a two-way sword. It is good also, but it knows each and every transaction of you. So that's it. I'll sum it up, Deepak.
It's very heartening to see that people who were not credit ready because of your company and some innovations of using data, you said assessed income.
Correct.
That's a very nice way of using data economies and then opening doors for transactions to happen. Thank you. Shuja, I'd like to understand from, for a company like his to make data-driven decisions, NetApp has been a pioneer in terms of data storage infrastructure. Can you walk us to the people here as to what are the building blocks for building such intelligent systems where data can be used?
Yeah, and I've been in this for quite some time. It was a lot easier back then. People needed storage, they would go buy servers. And it used to beat mind logic saying, you needed storage. Why are you buying more servers? Yeah, because I get CPU also with it. And that was a nice building block. You could do a lot of things with it. But today, it is not within the four walls of the data center. It is everywhere. It is on devices, it is in the cloud. And as they say, today it is much bigger in the cloud than it is in our data centers. And we're talking businesses here in India. I've seen telcos evolve, I've seen banks, of course, and banks also doing a lot of business with confidence in the cloud. It's very tough to create a building block per se, where you infrastructure-wise saying that this is where I want to go. But I think one way to simplify or a good start would be to have visibility of where your information assets are. Have it in a common data plane, which will ensure that irrespective of where it is, on-prem or in the cloud, at least you have interoperability. You would be able to move data without the long ETL processes, for example, or really backing up and then recovering and then hoping it is all consistent and it'll work for you. You don't have to. So first, the visibility. Second, the common data plane, which works across on-prem and cloud. And I think that gives a lot of, it just gives you a good start from a building block approach. If I may, for 30 seconds, it doesn't stop here. The expectations are very, very high from this building block. This data plane, whether it is on-prem or in the cloud. We are expected to do data protection. We are expected to do security. As keepers of information, it wasn't that tough earlier. We were supposed to just spin the disks, serve the data, and it was all fine. But we're supposed to make sure that any ransomware guy coming in, we're supposed to just make sure that we fortify it so much we can't breach these information repositories, and that takes a lot of intelligence. The building block has to be intelligent as well. It has to be secure. It has to have these data services, and it all starts. The good thing is that it all starts with a common data plane, which could be run on any hardware. So, have data strategy right on a data plane level. I think that'll be a good start for this building block.
This is brilliant, and it's amazing. Though the center of gravity of the data is now shifted, and still the systems are mature. I remember I used to head UBS. I was the group CTO during COVID. We used to have like strict policy. Nobody can even work behind the barrier, and I have to move more than 7,000 people at home and connect to the systems. So I think technologies like you have helped survive us from still the data being secured and infrastructure scaling about it. Yeah, I wanted to move forward, and Vasudha, as you are seeing the data, more and more data getting generated, and there are various new. What are some of the challenges, and what are some of the new opportunities you are seeing when you're dealing with different customers and proposing strategies for data and monetization from it?
Yeah, so see, data strategies, I feel that the challenges that we usually face is, you mentioned about security, but I also think that reliability of the data that we have and real-time analysis on that is what is critical in our business. So whatever data models we build, we try to make sure that the data is current, recent, and real-time, so we can give our customers an update in real time and they can take action accordingly. The second challenge I see with data right now and data analytics mostly is also that we are dependent on past data. whatever analysis we have done is from past data in previous years, and there can be black swan events, there can be future events that we cannot even predict, that nobody has known. So that data will not be able to tell us that something is going to happen in the future, or would even be able to recommend a new business model that is innovative, right? So that challenge I still see in data and data analytics, where it is not able to tell us because its bandwidth is that limited, the past data that it has for it to learn. So still think that innovation and a lot of new ideas still come from people like us, and data cannot just solve everything.
Thanks, Vasudha. I think one of the example is the exit poll recent, surveys. Everybody was thinking one way and then the reality. So such kinds of things do happen. Yeah. And what I wanted to, so thank you so much. I think the answers has been great. I wanted to ask if one of you would like to ask any questions from the group here. Yes, please. There's a gentleman there, if a mic can be given.
So one comment, Deepak was talking about the exit polls. So end of the day, whatever AI and everything, end of the day, it is what you input is what you get it. So if your data source itself is corrupted, your output is going to be corrupted. So that should be very careful. Whenever you go for any AI model, first thing is, you make sure, the data is clean. So I thought I'll put this word.
There was a question. Yeah. Sorry for the delay.
The question is for Vasudha. Vasudha, today you are providing share trading applications to customers, right? End customers, not even brokers, end customers. Now, even 20 years back, these existed. So what change are you aware of applications then and applications today? Or rather, from a customer perspective, from a how do you call it? From all aspects, right? What is kind of different?
Yeah, so you see, 20 years ago, when there were traditional brokers, there were not like many digital applications as such.
There were investments.com, as it's in,
Yeah.
they were there.
There were traditional brokers. They segmented in a different way.
There were websites as well, right? Investments.com was a website for customers. They had share trading brokers in Asitsi Mehta. They also had an investments.com website for normal customers. So today, no, these were very fundamental, rudimentary applications, right? Today, what do you have, which is above those that people then did not see?
Today, what we have is a faster, reliable, and more stable systems, firstly. So at BlinkX, we actually are very proud of the tech that we have built, and it is very scalable, and along with that, glitch-free, where even in current applications, we see a lot of glitches coming up in like multiple different platforms, right? So I think tech stability is much more in today's era. Secondly, I think with data analytics, we have been able to empower a lot of customers to make their decisions, to give investment advice that is not just coming from a research analyst, that is coming from some models, some algorithms, some data research work. And we have been able to empower them in the sense that we are able to analyze a lot of economical data, a lot of government data, a lot of import-export data, give all of that in one place and let the person make a decision for themselves or give a recommendation. So things like that, things like helping the customers in making their decisions is what I think is much more different than what it was before.
Well said. So I'd like to summarize. If there are more questions, you can meet any of us later. I know there is a more schedule around. I think this was a good short discussion where we learned about how data economies are evolving, and with a country of 1.4 billion and so much of data we are consuming and producing, I think data is one of the lever by which we can create new jobs, we can connect with one another and make wealth. I think the next 10 years at least is for India, and we should leverage this asset very carefully. As Sir said, garbage in, garbage out. So while you are producing, making, building systems, ensure that जैसे स्वच्छ भारत का अभियान है, वैसे आपके सिस्टम का डेटा भी क्लीन होना चाहिए, yeah? And then only you will make good insights, good outcomes. And thank you so much for kindly hearing it. And I'd like to thank all my fellow speakers here. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, panel. We'll request you to please help us with the group picture out there as you're here. Thank you for sharing the perspectives that helped us unlock the value of data, along with also talking about what are the building blocks to promote the data utilization, how does the data economy of the future looks like. So in short, this has been an insightful one for us. Thank you very, very much.